In this video, I'm going to introduce the first law in a series of the laws of the universe. And I'm also going to teach you something really interesting, which is how to live above the law. And you heard me right. And this is not crime, but I'm talking about living above the laws of the universe. Right, so welcome to Mighty Success Blueprint. I'm excited to have you here today on such a beautiful day, wherever you are. Right, so my name is Nicholas Mighty, and hey, I'm really happy to have you here today. This is a very special video, and I have really been waiting for this moment to start talking about the laws of the universe, right? So this is the first video in a series, right? In a series of many other videos that are coming. So hey, click the notifications bell and don't forget to, of course, subscribe so you don't miss any of these videos, right? On this channel, I talk about achievement, and that is personal or business achievement. So it doesn't matter what you're interested in. What do you want? Do you want results? But above all, do you want lasting results? That's exactly the stuff that I talk about on this channel. So don't forget to subscribe right now, right? So today I'm introducing the first law, which is law 0. And I'll tell you why I call it law 0, all right? I call it law 0 because it's basically living above the law, right? So it's not a law, but again, it's kind of, some people have called it the eye of the law, right? And I'm going to go much deeper into everything, right? So I've got my notes here. And first of all, why should we look at the laws of the universe, right? So this is the first video in a series about the laws of the universe, right? So we are going to talk about the laws, different laws, the law of giving and receiving, the law of, different laws, the law of attraction. You've heard about them from many different places, and we are going to talk about them in a series of videos, right? So don't forget to keep an eye on your notifications for these videos because they are really powerful. And I'll tell you why we are talking about the laws of the universe. Number one is we don't want to suffer, right? Suffering because of ignorance, of course. Now, why does somebody suffer because of the law? First of all, these are laws of the universe, right? So they govern how things work within the universe. And of course, there are penalties, if you go against these things. So if there are penalties, you must understand that many people have actually suffered, because of either lack of knowledge or ignoring these laws. So we want to take advantage of them rather than ignoring them. Taking advantage of them is using them and working with them so that we maximize success. And maximizing success is the other reason as to why I'm talking about these laws. So you and I can actually work together with the laws to maximize success, right? Rather than working against them. So why do I call it law 0? Like I said, it's the only way, right? It's basically everything inclusive. And I'm going to explain why this law is actually amazing. So I will introduce the law right now, and the law 0 is love, right? Not what you expected, of course. Probably because you saw the title, so you could guess, right? So love is the law 0, right? The law 0, and I'm not calling it law number 1 because it's law 0. It's basically living above the law. So how do you live above the law in the first place? Love is the answer. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can apply love in the different things that you do, right? Whether in business or in life, I'm going to show you exactly how. So, but I have a few things to read, and one of them is a definition of the law, right? So I got this from Google. So it says the system of rules which a particular country or community recognizes as regulating the actions of its members, and which it may enforce by the imposition of penalties, right? So there are penalties, for enforcement. And that's what the law really does, right? So if you've heard of laws, for example, the law of giving and receiving, I know I've mentioned that before. So it works in reverse as well, right? So let's say you choose to act the other way, right? To do the opposite of that law. Then, of course, there are results, there are penalties. But of course, when it comes to penalties, there is also the opposite of penalties, right? Which are rewards. You know, the law will reward you automatically. They are just things that are set, right? As you know, for the universe, right? For us who are living in this space, right? So it's very, very important that we understand how to work with these laws so that we do not default, so that we don't get penalties, right? Whether in business, whether in life, it doesn't matter, right? So first of all, the law of love, right? Which is law 0. And I'm calling it the law, but it's not a law. Love is really above the law. So how do you live above the law? The answer is law 0, which is love. So I will read a few things that will really inspire you when it comes to the law of love. And I got these from the Bible, and I'm going to read them for you. So if you're a student of the Bible, you can have a look at them in your own time. And hey, share with me whatever you think about these verses that I'm going to read for you, right? So I'll read the first one, and it says, "But the fruit of the Spirit, and that is the result of His presence within us, is love, which is unselfish concern for others," right? He defines love as unselfish concern for others. Joy, which is inner peace, right? Patience, not the ability to wait, but how to act while waiting, right? Kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things, there is no law, right? So he mentioned that, a number of things, and he says, against such things, there is no law. But there is one thing that really caught my attention is love is included amongst these things, right? So there is no law against love, right? As if that is not enough. So let's look at the next one that I still got from the Bible. So there are 3 quotations or verses that I want to read for you. And I still got this from the Bible. And check it out. It says, "And now there remain faith, which is abiding trust in God and His promises, hope, confident expectation of eternal salvation, love, which is unselfish love for others growing out of God's love for me." And he says these 3, the choicest graces, right? And he says, "But the greatest of these is love." Again, here we have love being mentioned as the greatest, right? So he says these 3 remain, no matter what happens to this world. He says those 3 will remain undisturbed. And he says, but the greatest of them is love. That tells you the law is inclusive in amongst the things that could go away, right? But love remains. And so the last verse that I want to read for you is actually still from the Bible, right? So it says, "Let no debt remain outstanding, except the continuing debt to love one another. For whoever loves others has fulfilled the law." So part of what I wanted to share with you today is, how do you live above the law? The answer is in fulfilling it. So how do you fulfill the law? Love is the fulfillment of the law. And of course, there is a quotation that is really exciting, and that's by Rumi, which says, "Love is the whole thing, and we are the pieces." That's really inspiring. I thought that was really, really cool. Love is the whole thing. Everything else is love, and we are just the pieces. So what happens when you walk away into another direction that is the opposite of love? You become cancerous. Just like the body is made of cells, right? Normal cells. And when a cell becomes abnormal, we kind of now try to treat it because it's overgrowing. It's growing astray, right? And that's what happens if you act without love, right? If you build a business without involving love, and we will see how to do that, right? If you make decisions, without love, without a genuine concern for others. Maybe you're selling a product and you don't have a genuine concern for selling that product. You just want to make quick bucks. And that happens a lot of times. But how do you walk in line with the law? That's what I'm here to share with you about, right? So the other quote that I got from christianstudylibrary.org says, "The law is love's eye, and without it, love is blind." Again, it says, "The law is love's eye, and without it, love is blind." Now that's really, really amazing, right? So I have just showed you how to live above the law. That's exactly what you can do by love. By love, you can actually live above every law that I'm going to ever mention in this series, right? Now, it's not to say that you don't have to, watch the other videos. I'll tell you the truth. You have to watch the other videos so you know exactly, because you find yourself sometimes walking away from love without understanding, without the knowledge of it, right? Now, how will you know, about the impact? Let's say it's the law of giving and receiving, right? And sometimes when you're grabbing, you just have this, and it's not as if you're grabbing consciously, but you just have this, selfish ambition. I want to make money, but without giving anything back. When you find yourself in such a situation, then hey, you will remember the law because you know about it. So you're not ignorant. So that's why you got to watch the rest of the videos, right, in this series about the laws of the universe, right? So they're very, very important. So how do you use the law? Zero, the law number zero, which is really love, right? Which is not really a law. And that's why I call it zero, right? So first of all, I have 2 points here, right? So think beyond yourself when making decisions, right? So you ask yourself, how does this decision that I'm making impact the rest of the world? Think the world, no matter what you're producing. You could be producing probably you're producing some handmade products that you're actually maybe baking stuff at home, right? Why should you use destructive material, destructive packaging that actually damages the environment, And, those things sound simple, but they are really, really key, right? And that's one sure way to really align yourself, by being conscious, being mindful of the entire world when doing the things that you do, right? So that's number one way to really make sure that you use or apply the law in your decisions, right? That's how to apply the law of love. And the other way is ask yourself, how does my idea fit the bigger picture, right? So what's the bigger picture in the first place, right? It's existence, it's life, right? And anything in support of life will thrive, right? So if you build a business, you're empowering people, building people, giving help, selflessly, right? Building lives, that business will always grow, right? And of course, there are businesses that have grown out of selfishness, but hey, how long do they last? When you look at companies that have lasted 100 years and over, there are companies that were built whose founders have actually they are long gone, but the businesses are still existent. That tells you something, right? When you align yourself with love, then you win. So that's generally how you can apply the law of love, which is law zero. So thank you very much. I hope you join me in the next part of this series, which is the laws of the universe. Hey, drop me some comments. Let me know what you think about law number zero, about love. How do you walk in love? So I hope this was insightful and impactful. I'll see you in the next video, right?